Before we begin the story, let us know where you're watching from by leaving a comment below. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the story, everyone. Mornings at Bean and Bloom were always a symphony of coffee, chatter, and the steady hum of the grinder. The sunlight had only just touched the edge of the glass door. But inside, customers were already lined up, each carrying their own mood. Some rushed for meetings, some sluggish from lack of sleep, and all in need of a cup of coffee like a starter dose for the day. Emma stood behind the counter, left hand on the grinder button, right hand shaking a milk jug, eyes flicking quickly to read the next order. She had been a barista for nearly 5 years, long enough to know that mornings at a coffee shop weren't for the faint of heart, and long enough to handle anything, from change my order 3 times customers to, I ordered an espresso, but wanted it in a glass the size of an iced tea requests. The bell over the door chimed, and a man walked in. Light blue pressed shirt, plain gray tie, coat neatly folded over one arm. He looked like any office worker in the neighborhood, tidy, a little aloof, and the kind who definitely ordered coffee with personalized specifications. He walked straight to the counter without glancing at the menu and said, "Latte at 62 degrees Celsius, less bitter, but still strong, foam exactly 1-2 centimeters thick." Emma looked up, the corner of her mouth lifting into a half smile. "Do you measure that with a tape measure or by eye?" A few customers in line chuckled. The man narrowed his eyes slightly but didn't snap back. "As long as you get it right." Emma wasn't the type to bow and scrape to customers, but she also didn't make them feel disrespected. She nodded, hit the machine, and started working, checking the temperature with a thermometer while muttering just loud enough for him to hear. 62 degrees Celsius. I'm guessing you're afraid it'll be too hot and numb your taste buds before your 8 a.m. meeting. The man only glanced at her, the corner of his lips twitching upward. The latte landed on the counter, smooth cloud-like foam, a neat leaf latte art on top. He took a sip, then set it down. "Make me another one." "Less milk." Emma raised an eyebrow, but turned around and poured in another shot of espresso. She set the new cup in front of him. He sipped again, frowned. Still not strong enough. Emma leaned on the counter, voice calm but with a blunt edge. "The customer isn't always right, but the customer always has the right to clarification." With that, she pulled 3 small paper cups from under the counter and quickly prepared samples. 1 strong latte, 1 cappuccino, and 1 flat white. "Here, mini toasting. This one has less milk, this one has more foam, and this one's more balanced. Try them and choose, so we don't waste Earth's resources." The line of customers laughed again. The man examined the 3 cups and sipped each one as seriously as if he were judging fine wine. Finally, he nodded. "This one, flat white. Ah, so we found the truth." Emma prepared another full cup, exactly like the sample, and slid it toward him. Just then, the doorbell chimed again and again. A group of college students poured in, rattling off drink orders like reciting a poem. In another corner, a young woman spilled milk on the counter, and an elderly man was asking for directions to the bus station. Emma handled it all like a conductor leading an orchestra, taking orders, wiping the counter, guiding the new staff member, still answering the old man's question with gentle patience. When she turned back, the man in the light blue shirt was still there, his flat white already half gone. He paid without leaving a tip, but when she took the receipt, Emma noticed a handwritten note in the corner. "See you." She shrugged, folded the paper, and tucked it into her apron pocket before turning to her coworker. "Today I served Mr. Lioshartu. Needed exactly 1-2 centimeters of foam or nothing. I bet tomorrow he'll ask for a dinosaur-shaped foam." The whole shop burst into laughter again. While Emma was busy making more drinks, Noah, because of course that was his name, walked slowly toward the door. Before leaving, his gaze lingered briefly on a small silver logo on the corner of the counter, engraved with the words, "A Grant brand." He smiled faintly, though Emma didn't notice. She poured the last matcha latte, wiped her hands on her apron, and thought, hopefully I won't see him again. Chapter 2. The Half-Hearted Apology. The morning shift at Bean and Bloom ended with the soft chime of the 11 a.m. bell, signaling that the rush of pre-meeting customers had retreated back to their offices. The cafe quieted, leaving only a few people scattered with laptops or books. Emma took the chance to wipe down the counter, push the chairs back into place, and adjust the small lavender vase at the corner table. She still hadn't forgotten Mr. 62 degrees from that morning. His calm face, yet constant changes in order. His deep voice with words as sharp as a knife slicing through butter. And that "see you" note he'd written as if it were a challenge. The way he had looked her straight in the eye while tasting the 3 mini sample cups had been unsettling, equal parts judgment and curiosity. Still thinking about that guy from this morning? Sophie, her coworker and best friend, spoke up while cleaning the grinder. Not exactly thinking, Emma replied, pausing with her hands on her hips. But it's rare to meet someone both picky and patient. Usually picky customers are impatient, or the other way around. Sophie giggled. Maybe he likes you. I noticed him watching you while you were running around. Oh, stop matchmaking at random. Emma shook her head, though the corner of her lips curved slightly. The bell over the door chimed. Emma turned automatically, and like a déjà vu scene, Mr. 62 Degrees walked in. This time he wore no coat, just the light blue shirt and a slightly loosened tie. He looked like he'd just left the office, but without any rush, he strode straight to the counter, stopping a few steps from her, eyes glinting with something that looked amused. I think I owe you an apology. His voice was deep and clear. Emma raised an eyebrow, setting down the cleaning cloth. Oh, so today someone's willing to admit they're difficult. The corner of Noah's mouth twitched, but his gaze remained serious. I'm sorry for changing my order over and over, but I have to say, you're the first person to tell me the customer isn't always right and still make me want to come back. Emma crossed her arms, tilting her head. Sounds like an apology, with a side of sarcasm. That's what makes it a half-hearted apology, Noah said with a fleeting smile. If I were too sincere, you'd lose the chance to spar with me. Sophie tried not to laugh behind the counter, pretending to busy herself with stacking cups. Emma rested her elbows on the counter, her eyes sparkling with playful mischief. So, what's your order today? Or should I just make you 3 mini tastings to save us both some time? Noah shrugged. You're making me feel like I should keep it simple. Flat white, hot, 62 degrees Celsius foam. Your choice. Your choice? Emma feigned surprise. What if I make the foam as high as a snow-capped mountain? I'll consider it art. Emma smiled, turning toward the espresso machine. As she steamed the milk, she kept chatting. Where do you work? Somewhere nearby. Noah hesitated as if weighing his answer. You could say that I'm in the service industry. Service industry? Yet you challenge other service workers? Emma shot him a sidelong look, eyes gleaming as if she'd caught him red-handed. Sounds a little contradictory. Noah chuckled softly. Consider it a way of learning. Emma set the flat white on the counter. Here you go. Foam at a reasonable height. No measuring tape needed. Noah took a sip, nodded. Perfect. Maybe I should learn to trust you more. And maybe I should learn to tolerate you more. Emma shot back instantly. They both laughed, just a brief moment, but enough for Emma to realize that no matter how difficult he was, talking to him wasn't tiring at all. If anything, it felt like a little verbal chess match they both enjoyed playing. Noah paid, and this time dropped a few bills into the tip jar. Don't use it to buy a new thermometer. I like the way you measure by eye. Emma laughed. I'll buy a tape measure just to get your foam exactly 2 centimeters. He turned to leave, then paused and looked back at her. I might start dropping by more often. I'll have a special menu ready for Mr. 60 Octaveda. Emma winked. Noah left, and Emma found herself smiling alone. Sophia immediately pounced. See, I told you. You're in his sights now. Emma picked up the cloth and wiped the counter, feigning indifference. No way. He just likes to tease. And I'm not the kind to be won over by pretty foam. Still, in the back of her mind, the image of those bright eyes and that half-smile lingered. That mix of irritation and intrigue. She'd never felt it with any customer before. In the days after the half-hearted apology, Bean and Bloom still opened promptly at 6 a.m., and just as promptly, a certain new regular began showing up. Noah's first return was on a quiet Wednesday afternoon. So quiet that Emma was passing time by sticking heart-shaped labels on sugar jars. The bell over the door chimed, and he walked in as if this were his private office. Flat white, 62 degrees Celsius, he said, like giving a password. Emma didn't even write it down. While steaming the milk, she teased. Ever think about trying something else? Or should I engrave 62 degrees on your cup? I believe in consistency, but I also like trying new things. If the barista is worth trusting, Noah said, leaning casually on the counter. Sounds like both a compliment and a dare. Could be both. He smiled faintly. Would you be open to a new opportunity? You mean a new coffee recipe? No, a new job. Emma's hand stilled. Serious, huh? I'm not in the mood for a job interview in a coffee shop. It's not an interview. It's an offer. An offer for what? Modeling for a fashion brand? Sorry, I'm more of an apron type. I think you'd be perfect for managing several shops. He spoke vaguely. The chain is expanding. We need someone who knows how to handle the toughest customers. Tempting, but way too shady. What industry are you even in? Service, he said simply. Say yes, and I'll tell you more. I don't get in a car without knowing where it's going. He only nodded. Sliding a business card across the counter, it read Noah Grant with a phone number. No title, no email. Mysterious, but fair warning. I don't usually call strangers. Noah just smiled, finished his coffee, and left. The next day, he came again. And the day after that, always at a quiet hour, always at the same table near the window, always starting with flat white, 62 degrees Celsius. But instead of burying himself in his phone, he talked to Emma. Why did you choose to be a barista? Do you prefer making coffee at home or at a shop? If you could change the menu, what would you add? She answered with her usual wit. The shop is more fun, more strangers to meet. Espresso at home, flat white at the shop, unless there's a customer who changes their order 3 times. If I added something, it would be coffee for the picky. Espresso with a mirror, so you can look at yourself. Noah laughed, and Emma realized his smile was far warmer than his usual serious expression. Sophie started teasing. If you don't take the offer, I will. He's handsome, fun to talk to, and loaded. Who says he's loaded? Look at that watch. It's worth a month of your salary. Emma glanced over. Not cheap, for sure. And the way he sat, back straight, coffee in hand, radiated the air of someone used to being in control. A week passed. Emma still hadn't called, but his business card stayed tucked in her tip jar. That afternoon, Sophie made an offer. There's a Grant Enterprises charity gala tonight. My friend has extra invites, free food and drinks. If there's free wine, I'm in, but what do I wear? That evening, Emma wore a navy dress, hair in a sleek bun, red lipstick. She and Sophie stepped into a grand hotel ballroom filled with warm golden light, soft jazz, champagne towers, and trays of canapes. Emma had just picked up a glass of wine when the MC's voice rang out. Please welcome the CEO of Grant Enterprises, Mr. Noah Grant. She nearly dropped her glass. There he was on stage in a black suit, smiling under the spotlight. He looked powerful and nothing like Mr. Lil Shartu. His eyes found hers, and a brief smile flickered. Stepping down from the stage, Noah walked straight to her. Good evening, Miss Barista. Hopefully this time I won't make you want to throw your drink at me. Depends on what you say next. I'm still extending the offer, and now you know where I work. Emma only shook her head lightly, but inside she felt her resolve waver. Noah found her on the balcony. For the first time, he made the official offer to manage his soon-to-open coffee chain. The hotel ballroom still buzzed with chatter, but out on the balcony, everything was quieter. The faint echo of jazz music drifted from inside, replaced by a cool March evening breeze, just crisp enough to make Emma pull her shawl tighter around her shoulders. She hadn't planned on coming out here, only escaped to avoid Sophie, who had been all but winking her eyes out when Noah had walked straight toward her earlier. Emma needed a few minutes to process what had just happened. Turns out Mr. 62 Degrees wasn't some slightly eccentric office worker, but the CEO of an entire corporation, the CEO of Grant Enterprises, and if she remembered correctly, the company had bought out Bean and Bloom less than a month ago, so he knew exactly who I was from the start, she thought, feeling equal parts embarrassed and irritated. The balcony door opened. Noah stepped out, holding 2 glasses of champagne. I'm guessing you haven't had dinner yet. He handed her one. Emma accepted it, taking a small sip. And I'm guessing you really enjoy surprises. Only with people who react interestingly to them. Noah leaned on the railing, eyes sweeping over the city lights. Truth is, I didn't plan on staying on stage that long tonight. But then I saw you standing there, and I thought I should clear a few things up. Clear up? Emma tilted her head, keeping her tone even. That I'm not just some rich office guy flirting with a barista, as you might think. He glanced at her, the corner of his mouth curving slightly. I'm the one who bought Bean and Bloom, and I want you to work for me. Emma smiled faintly, but her eyes stayed on him. So that morning at the cafe, you were testing your own employee. I call it a customer experience evaluation. He shrugged. And you passed that test in a way I've never seen before, meaning just cheeky enough to not get fired, she teased, meaning direct but still professional. His tone grew more serious. That's exactly what I need for the new chain. Emma let the silence stretch, letting the wind fill the space between them. She didn't answer yet. But it was clear this offer was far more serious than his earlier offhand remarks. Noah turned, leaning fully against the railing to face her. "I'm not asking you to decide right now. But I want you to know this position isn't just about managing a coffee shop. You'd be part of building a real brand." "And if I say no?" Emma asked. Using the casual I and you she often used with familiar customers. "Then I'll still come by, order flat white at 62 degrees Celsius, and annoy you until you change your mind." His tone was half joking, half not. Emma laughed, trying to hide her unease. "That kind of threat violates employee rights, you know. And I'd hope to be called the charming boss instead of the difficult customer." They both laughed. The initial tension eased, replaced by something else, something comfortable yet edged with a subtle, unspoken anticipation. Inside, the MC began announcing the next performance. Noah tilted his head. "Want to head back in or stay out here a little longer?" "A little longer," Emma replied. They stood in silence for a while, watching the city. Golden light from the street lamps below washed over them, casting a soft halo. Emma's mind wandered back to their first meeting. The slight frown when her latte wasn't up to spec, the customer isn't always right line that had made the whole line laugh. Looking back now, she realized he hadn't just been testing her, he'd been observing closely. Noah broke the silence. "You know, the moment you set down those 3 mini tasting cups, I decided I'd find a way to work with you." Emma blinked. "Because I dared to do that to a customer? Because you knew how to explain without making the other person lose face," he said slowly. "That's a rare skill." Emma stayed quiet, swirling the champagne in her glass. This compliment felt different. Nothing about her looks or her quick wit, but something deeper. Her work ethic, her way of handling people. Inside, the music shifted to a softer tune. Noah held out his hand. "Shall we go back? Or we could skip the rest of this gala and grab something to eat." Emma laughed. "Are you asking me to ditch your own event? Even a CEO needs a break sometimes." His eyes sparkled. She considered for a moment, then shook her head. "Tonight, I'll let you be the well-behaved CEO, but maybe next time." Noah smiled, as if filing away a promise. When they returned to the ballroom, Sophie swooped in, eyes alight. "Oh my gosh, where have you two been? You know you just missed the entire dessert table, right?" Emma shot Noah a look, as if to say, "See, I've got a food watchdog here." Noah only smiled politely at Sophie before slipping away to resume his role as host. Emma blended back into the crowd, but every few minutes she'd catch Noah's gaze from across the room. Not overtly, but enough to know he was still keeping an eye on her. When the gala wound down, Noah found her again. This time no champagne, no cryptic lines. He handed her a small card embossed with the new Bean and Bloom logo and an address. "If you want to see what the new chain looks like, come here on Monday, no strings attached, just a tour." Emma glanced at the printed words, "Headquarters tour." "And if I come, you're not going to make me brew you a flat white, are you?" "No," Noah said with a smile. "This time I'll make it for you. Though it might still be 62 degrees Celsius." Emma laughed, and she knew, even without saying it out loud, that she would be there. Monday morning dawned so vividly blue, it made people believe the whole week would go smoothly. Emma stood in front of the towering glass building bearing the Grant Enterprises logo, the headquarters tour card tucked in her handbag. She'd planned to wear her usual simple dress and flats, but Sophie had insisted on adding a blazer, so you look at least a little professional just in case opportunity drops into your lap. Opportunity for what? Emma thought, but she went along with it anyway. The security guard in the lobby recognized her immediately when she handed over the card. "Please head to the 18th floor. Mr. Grant is expecting you." The 18th floor opened into a completely different world. The scent of fresh wood, warm amber lighting, and a coffee counter designed exactly like Bean and Bloom, only sleeker, shinier, and more expensive looking. Behind the counter, none other than Noah himself in a crisp white shirt, expertly steaming milk like a professional barista. "I promised I'd make you one," he said without looking up. Emma crossed her arms, strolling toward the counter. "Liu Shar Shoshudu, right?" "Of course." Noah poured the milk into the cup with a smooth, practiced motion. "I did this for 3 years back in college. So, you're not just a boardroom guy." Emma accepted the flat white, took a sip. "Not bad, but not enough to bribe me." Noah smiled. "I know. That's why I invited you here." He gestured for her to follow, leading her down a wide hallway into a glass-walled conference room. On the table sat a thick folder, the Bean and Bloom logo, and the words Expansion Project printed on the cover. "This is the plan to open 20 new locations within 18 months, Noah said, his tone turning serious. "I want you involved from the very start, not just managing one shop, but overseeing operations for the pilot system." Emma sat, flipping through pages filled with charts, floor layouts, and staff training plans. "Sounds big." "It is, but I believe you can do it." Noah leaned lightly against the table, looking her straight in the eye. "I've seen how you handle situations, how you talk to customers, and how you preserve the shop's identity. That's exactly what I want to keep as we grow." Emma arched a brow. "You're not afraid I'll argue with the boss?" Noah chuckled. "I need someone who will argue if they have a point. If everyone just nods, I'll miss the warnings that matter." She paused for a few seconds before saying, "Frankly, I'm pretty happy at my current shop here. I might have to deal with a lot more Ethans." Noah laughed at her use of what he instantly understood. A type of person, the over-ambitious marketing guy who'd sacrifice quality for numbers. "Maybe, but you'll have the authority to say no when it matters. And the salary," he slid a sheet across the table. Emma glanced at it and, though she tried to keep her face neutral, the number made her heartbeat skip. "Are you buying my silence or buying my difficult personality?" "Buying your honesty," Noah replied, without a hint of a joke. She leaned back in her chair, looking out the floor-to-ceiling windows at the city stretching out under the sunlight. "I'll try, but just try. 6 months. Noah nodded. "Deal. And I hope that after 6 months you'll be leading the expansion project." She smiled and held out her hand. "Deal." Noah shook it, and in that moment, Emma realized he wasn't just warm at 62 degrees Celsius. There was something else about him. Deeper, harder to measure. That afternoon, Emma was shown around the office. Every department was sleek and modern, but the standout was the coffee lab, a space dedicated to testing new beans, recipes, and brewing techniques. Curious, Emma tried a specialty cold brew while Noah stood beside her, explaining each detail. "You know," he said, "I've always believed the best coffee is the kind that makes the person drinking it feel heard." Sounds like a life philosophy. Emma took another sip. "But didn't you just use that philosophy to recruit me?" Noah raised an eyebrow. "Seems like it worked." She shook her head with a smile. "I haven't agreed to stay for good. You know." "I know." Noah tilted his head, that half-smile hovering. "But I also know I have 6 months to change that." When Emma left the building, Noah was still in the lobby seeing her off, his gaze following her until she was gone. And though she didn't admit it out loud, on the way home, Emma was already picturing what she'd do if she really had an entire network of brand new Bean and Bloom cafes under her lead. Emma arrived at Grant Enterprises headquarters at exactly 8:45 a.m., 15 minutes early. First day, better look a little professional, she told herself. Her outfit was a simple white blouse and gray trousers, but she hadn't forgotten a small pair of coffee bean-shaped earrings, a subtle reminder that even in an office, she was still a barista at heart. The moment she stepped onto the 18th floor, Noah's assistant, a young woman named Lily, led her to the conference room. "The boss wants you in the expansion meeting right away so you can get the big picture idea." The room was nearly full. Emma picked a seat in the middle, close enough to see everything, far enough not to stand out. That plan failed instantly when Noah walked in. "Good morning." His gaze swept the room and lingered on Emma far longer than necessary. "Great. Keep looking at me like that and watch everyone notice," Emma thought, feeling the curious stares from her new colleagues. The meeting began. Ethan, the head of marketing, whom Noah had already mentioned, presented the summer campaign for Bean and Bloom. The slide on the screen showed colorful coffee cups topped with all manner of extras alongside the slogan Bean and Bloom. The more toppings, the more fun. Emma frowned. "Sorry, may I ask?" She raised her hand and, when Noah nodded, she continued, "What exactly are the toppings in these photos?" "Marshmallows, chocolate shavings, whipped cream, caramel," Ethan listed proudly. "The younger crowd will love it." Emma tilted her head. "But Bean and Bloom is known for pure coffee, refined flavor, low sugar. Too many toppings will drown out the beans' taste." And she smiled faintly, make the baristas cry, trying to measure them perfectly. A few chuckles went around the table. Noah raised an eyebrow, clearly weighing whether to intervene or let her go on. Ethan looked less than pleased. "This is a new approach to attract young customers. I understand. But if we want to appeal to a younger crowd, why not try latte art workshops or weekend tasting events?" Still trendy. But we keep the brand's character. Emma's voice was polite but firm. Noah leaned on the table, eyes glinting with interest. Good idea. Let's keep both options and test audience feedback. Ethan nodded, albeit reluctantly. Emma just jotted notes in her pad, but she knew she'd scored a point in front of the boss. At lunch, Emma was about to head out when a cup of coffee landed on her desk. Noah stood there, one hand in his pocket, face perfectly calm, flat white, 62 degrees Celsius. You're making people talk, Emma murmured. Let them talk. Noah shrugged. At least they'll remember who you are. Oh, the 62 degrees Celsius girl. Not sure if I should thank you or sue you for free branding. Noah leaned slightly closer, lowering his voice. I like this branding, and trust me, no one will forget you after today. Emma looked at him, half wanting to roll her eyes, half wanting to laugh. She chose to laugh. That afternoon, Lily gave Emma a tour of the office departments. When they reached the coffee lab, Emma couldn't resist jumping in to help a barista testing a new machine. Mind if I tweak the steam wand? She asked. And at the nod, she adjusted the valve, tilted the pitcher, and produced foam as smooth as cream. Perfect, the barista exclaimed. Noah walked in just as Emma drew a flawless heart in the latte art. He crossed his arms, watching with undisguised pride. I bring you into the office. And on your first day you've already taken over the coffee lab. I was just helping, Emma said with a grin. And that heart's for the boss. Noah took the cup, sipped. Exactly 62 degrees Celsius. Emma laughed. You really can't let go of that standard, can you? At the end of the day, as Emma packed up, Noah approached. Your first day. Just the right amount of chaos. And you seem to enjoy that, she replied with a hint of challenge. I like things with a bit of surprise, Noah said, eyes steady on hers. Like today, you not only redirected a marketing meeting, but also had the coffee lab lining up to schedule training sessions with you. Emma shrugged. I just do what I think is right. And that's exactly why I want you here. Noah smiled. Better get ready for a business trip next week. Business trip where to? Visiting our branches, he said, walking away, leaving her with a mix of excitement and a strong suspicion that this business trip was going to be anything but ordinary. Emma arrived at Grant Enterprises headquarters at exactly 8:45 a.m., a small rolling suitcase gliding over the polished stone floor. She wore dark jeans, a simple gray sweater, and a light scarf, not too corporate, but neat enough for a day of travel. Noah was already waiting in the lobby, sleeves rolled up, jacket slung casually over his shoulder, looking as if he'd stepped straight off a business magazine cover. Had your coffee yet this morning? He asked, eyes flicking to her suitcase. Yes, flat white, 62 degrees Celsius. Made it myself, Emma replied with a shrug. No need for you to quality check. Noah smirked, tilting his head toward the exit. Let's go. We're hitting 3 branches, Riverbend, Maplewood, and Pine Hollow. They headed to the parking lot where Noah opened the door of a black SUV. The scent of new leather and a faint hint of wood polish filled the cabin, making Emma think this trip was going to be different from what she'd imagined. On the road, Emma opened her laptop, reviewing notes on each branch. Noah kept his eyes on the road, though every so often he tossed a teasing comment her way. Planning to interview every staff member like you did when we first met? No, Emma said, giving him a sidelong smile. I'm being on my best behavior today. That sounds more dangerous than reassuring. The Riverbend branch sat on a busy street corner, designed almost exactly like the original cafe, though the tables were a bit too close together. Emma examined every detail, from the wall-mounted menu to the way staff greeted customers. This place is fine, but the layout doesn't make the most of the natural light, she remarked once they sat at a corner table. If we move the bar closer to the window, it'll save on electricity and create a more open feel. Noah nodded, jotting it down without argument. Emma noticed, slightly surprised, that he wasn't the type to instantly reject an idea that wasn't his. Maplewood was a smaller neighborhood with mostly regular customers rather than passers-by. Emma chatted with the baristas, complimenting their consistency and flavor. She sampled a specialty cold brew, then suggested adjusting the steeping time to soften the taste. Noah listened in silence, occasionally asking about costs and customer feedback. But as they left Maplewood, the sky turned a dull gray, the wind picked up, and raindrops pattered against the windshield. The radio crackled. A low-grade storm is moving into the Pine Hollow area. Expect heavy rain and strong winds this evening. Travel is not advised. Noah frowned. If we keep going, We might get stuck on the road. Is there a town nearby? Emma checked the map. Willow Creek. There's a small inn in the center. Good. Let's head there. The rain was pouring by the time they reached town. The Willow Creek Inn appeared with a green-painted wooden sign, warm yellow light spilling from its windows. The innkeeper smiled warmly. Sorry, only one room left. 2 twin beds. Emma arched a brow at Noah. You want to book it or sleep in the car? Book it, Noah replied without hesitation, turning back to the woman. We'll take it. The room was small but cozy. Pale wood-paneled walls, 2 twin beds against opposite walls. A little wooden table between them, and a window overlooking the rain-slick street. Emma hung her coat and towel-dried her hair. Business trip turned rainy day getaway. Kind of nice. Noah set down his bag and, to Emma's surprise, pulled out a French press and a bag of pre-ground coffee. Not about to let us drink instant. Emma laughed. A CEO making coffee in a tiny inn room. That's rare. Not with you, Noah said, pouring hot water over the grounds. The best coffee is the one you share. The rich aroma filled the room. They sat across from each other, mugs in hand, watching the rain blur the world outside. Once the coffee was gone, they opened their laptops to discuss plans for Pine Hollow. But the talk drifted from operations to stories. I once had a customer make me measure foam with his own tape measure, Emma recalled. Sounds reasonable to me, Noah teased. If you tried that, I'd serve you a cup of nothing but foam. They laughed until a sudden gust of wind sent the curtains flapping wildly. Emma got up to close them, but her foot caught on a charger cable, and she stumbled. Noah was there in an instant, hands steadying her shoulders. The space between them shrank to just a few inches. Emma caught the mingled scent of coffee, wood, and rain. Her heartbeat quickened, but she broke the tension with a quip. Trying to catch me or check my temperature? Noah's smile deepened. Maybe both. They both laughed and returned to the table. Though Noah's eyes kept finding her in quiet moments outside, the rain drummed steadily. Emma put on her favorite acoustic playlist, sharing one earbud with Noah. They listened to warm, mellow tracks, occasionally exchanging comments as if they were sitting in a Bean and Bloom corner booth. This song's good, Noah murmured, like slow brew coffee, strong but smooth. You're complimenting the song and my coffee at the same time, aren't you? Emma teased. Maybe both, he said again, his tone the same half-playful, half-serious one she was starting to recognize. When the lights finally went out, the sound of rain mingled with the soft music. Lying in bed, eyes closed, Emma thought. If every business trip were like this, I'd never feel tired. By morning, the storm had passed, leaving a pale gray sky. They checked out and stepped into rain-washed streets. Noah was unlocking the SUV when Emma noticed a young man across the street, phone in hand, as if he'd just taken a photo. Did you see? She began, but Noah shut the door with a calm. I saw. Let it go. Emma frowned slightly but climbed into the car. She didn't know that the picture of them leaving the inn together would make its way into the company's internal group chat before they even reached the office. The glass doors on the 18th floor slid open as Emma stepped inside, coffee cup in hand, hair pulled back into a neat high ponytail. The recent business trip had been tiring, but her spirits were still intact. Just get to my desk, open my laptop, get to work, she told herself. But from the moment she passed reception, she sensed something different. A few employees glanced up at her, then leaned toward each other to whisper. Some smirked. Others looked down at their phones before sneaking another look at her. What on earth is going on? Emma wondered, forcing herself to keep her expression neutral. Barely a minute after she sat down, Lily strode over and held out her phone. You should see this. On the screen was a blurry photo. She and Noah, walking out of the Willow Creek Inn, each pulling a suitcase. The rainy street behind them. Even though the quality was poor, their faces were unmistakable. Where did this come from? Emma asked under her breath. Someone sent it to the company group chat. Now the entire 18th floor has seen it. Lily shrugged. You might want to brace yourself. Emma exhaled sharply. Perfect. First day of the week, and I'm already the headline gossip. Emma retreated to the pantry to make herself a coffee, hoping for a moment to regroup, but as soon as she stepped inside, there was Noah standing casually, hot water in hand, looking utterly unbothered. You've seen it? She asked bluntly. The Willow Creek photo? Noah took a sip from his mug, calm as ever. Yes. And you're not going to do anything? I am. He set the mug down and reached for the milk. I'm going to make you a cappuccino and bring it to your desk for everyone to see. Emma stared at him. You're trying to throw fuel on the fire. Noah smiled. I just want everyone to know I value talented employees. Talented employees get their coffee hand-delivered by the CEO. Emma folded her arms. You're trying to make me the topic of the whole company. You already are. Now at least let me control the narrative. His voice was so calm, it made Emma want to be annoyed and laugh at the same time. 5 minutes later, Noah walked out and set a cappuccino on her desk, carefully rotating the heart-shaped latte art to face her. For you, he said loud enough for the nearby desks to hear. A few murmurs went up. One male colleague grinned. Mr. Grant making coffee for staff. That's something you don't see every day. Emma pretended not to hear, though her cheeks felt warm. She leaned toward Noah and whispered, You're turning me into the morning drama. Drama needs an audience. He murmured back, then strolled off to his office, leaving her caught between embarrassment and not quite able to be mad. By lunchtime, the rumor mill had gone into overdrive. The story had grown embellishments. The CEO and the new manager went on a trip and stayed at the same inn. Romantic, stormy night. Heart-shaped coffee the next morning. Walking to the cafeteria with Lily, Emma overheard snippets. I bet they knew each other before she joined. No, I heard they met at a cafe. Still, the CEO making her coffee at her desk, Emma was equal parts irritated and amused. She turned to Lily. Any way to shut this down? Fastest ways to confirm it, Lily said deadpan, then burst out laughing when Emma shot her a glare. That afternoon, Emma joined a project meeting with Noah and several senior managers. For reasons she couldn't fathom, Noah chose the seat right next to hers. When the discussion turned to opening new branches, Noah turned to her. What do you think, Emma? About the expansion plan? Both design and menu. You have the most practical eye here. Then, right in front of everyone, he poured her a glass of water. A few pairs of eyes flickered with curiosity. Emma knew exactly what he was doing. She took a steadying breath and gave her input as professionally as she could, even as the corner of Noah's mouth lifted, looking entirely too satisfied. When most people had left, Emma stepped into Noah's office and shut the door. Do you know how many comments I've had to listen to all day? I do. Noah glanced up from his laptop. And I think you've handled them very well. You think it's fine? I don't. Emma crossed her arms. I want to be here because of my skills, not because people think I'm the CEO's special someone. Noah stood, moving closer. Then just keep excelling. People will see you deserve your position whether or not you are special to me. Emma opened her mouth to retort, but Noah smiled faintly and handed her a folder. Reverbent Branch Report. Go through it. We meet on it tomorrow. She took it with a sigh, but as she left his office, the corner of her mouth curved just slightly, for reasons she couldn't explain. She couldn't quite stay mad at him. That morning, the atmosphere on the 18th floor felt tenser than usual. The lights in the main conference room were on, the presentation slide glowing with a bold title. Bean in Bloom. Super Fun Summer. Shock prices. Giant toppings. Ethan, the head of marketing, stood beside the screen, clicker in hand. Smiling with the confidence of a man certain of victory, Noah sat at the head of the table, calm and unreadable. Emma, seated along the side, flipped open her notebook, ready to take notes. Our campaign will boost revenue by 20% in 3 months, Ethan began. Colorful new cups, marshmallow toppings, gummy candy, whipped cream, prices slashed by 25% for the first 2 weeks. Channels. TikTok. Influencers. Mini games. Emma stared at the slides filled with candy-colored drinks, an ache tugging at her chest. She raised her hand. May I ask, do we have any data showing that our loyal customers actually want more sugar and toppings? Ethan arched a brow. Based on benchmarks from other chains, younger customers love visually fun drinks. But Bean and Bloom is known for pure coffee, refined flavor, low sugar, warm, and honest. Emma said clearly. Turn it into a candy counter, and sure, short-term sales might spike, but loyalty will drop. Once trust is gone, customers don't come back. A few heads nodded. Ethan's smile tightened. We're talking about growth, not coffee philosophy. Emma kept her composure. I'm proposing an alternative. Keep the streamlined menu, but add a summer experience shelf. 3 distinct bean profiles, mini tasting flights, and weekend latte art workshops. Marketing follows the message. Warm, bold, honest, lower costs, strong impact, brand identity intact. Noah tilted his head. Cost, compared to Ethan's plan. About 30% less, no massive price cuts, and focused on retention, Emma replied. Ethan cut in. But what about speed? We need to hit the summer window now, not waste time on long A/B testing. Noah leaned back, thoughtful. I get your point, Emma. But summer's short, Ethan's plan is faster. I'm leaning toward a broad rollout, with some adjustments. Emma met his Hase, meaning toppings and discounts across the system? Not entirely, Noah said. We'll keep some signature stores and try the new approach in the rest. Emma paused, then spoke slowly. I can't support that. If this campaign moves forward as is, I'll step back from the project. I won't sign off on something I don't believe in. The room fell into a heavy silence. Noah's eyes lingered on her longer than usual. Unreadable. Your decision. She nodded, closed her notebook, stood, and left the room. Noah sat in his office, staring out the glass wall. The meeting had gone on without her, but his mind kept replaying, Emma walking out, proud, but with a flicker of hurt in her eyes. Lily knocked. Emma just left. Said something about the old bean and bloom. Noah stood, grabbing his jacket. I'm going for coffee. The cafe was quiet in the afternoon light, sun slanting through the windows. Emma stood behind the counter, no office blazer now, just her old apron. Sophie spotted Noah and gave a mischievous grin. You're regulars here. Emma looked up, eyes meeting his, pausing for a second before he approached the counter. Give me exactly what I had that day, he said. Latte, 62 degrees Celsius. Less bitter, but still strong. Foam one, 2 centimeters. She recited. No. He shook his head. Give me what you think is right today. And I'm here to listen, not to test you. Emma studied him for a few seconds before nodding. The grinder hummed, milk hissed. The scent of fresh coffee drifted between them. She slid the cup toward him. Warm, bold, honest. Noah didn't drink right away. Are you angry at me? I'm disappointed you didn't give me the time to prove my case. I needed 4 weeks to test it. I know, Noah nodded. I rushed, and I nearly lost you. Emma stayed silent. Sophie discreetly moved away. I'll send you the A/B test plan. If you want to try it, we can start in 5 pilot stores this week, she said. Noah let out a quiet breath. I want to, and this time I'll do it your way. Emma's lips curved slightly, her gaze softening. Then we're good. But stop bringing cappuccinos with hearts to my desk at the office. No promises, Noah said with a grin, taking a sip. Exactly 62 degrees Celsius. The next morning, the 18th floor buzzed with its usual activity, but before heading up to the office, Noah made a detour to the old Bean and Bloom. He stepped inside while the cafe was still quiet, choosing a small table near the door before moving behind the counter himself. There, he carefully prepared a cappuccino exactly the way Emma had made it for him yesterday. Sophie raised an eyebrow. Mr. Grant, making coffee. Now that's breaking news. Today I'm bringing a peace offering, Noah replied, placing the drink into a thermal cup before heading out. Emma had just opened her laptop when the sound of leather shoes caught her attention. Looking up, she saw Noah set the cappuccino down on her desk. This is the real apology, he said, voice low and firm. No heart on the foam. No adding fuel to the fire, just coffee and listening. Emma blinked, a little surprised, but she took the cup, popped open the lid, and inhaled the warm, creamy scent. You got up early just to make this? Yes, Noah said, pulling out a chair and sitting across from her. And to tell you that you were right. She raised a brow. Right about what? About not running a campaign without understanding the long-term impact. His tone was direct. I got caught up in the numbers and forgot that this brand started with something simple. A good, honest cup of coffee. Emma stayed silent, sipping the drink. The flavor was balanced, the temperature perfect, the foam silky. She didn't say it aloud, but the tension in her chest loosened. So, what's your plan, she asked. A 4-week A/B test in 5 pilot stores using your method. Noah answered immediately. We'll keep a few signature locations untouched, and the rest will trial Ethan's campaign, but adjusted for environmental standards and original flavor profiles. I lead the test, she clarified. You lead. I support. Noah leaned forward slightly. And I want you to know I don't agree easily, but when I do, it means I trust you. His eyes didn't waver. Emma felt something genuine under the polished CEO tone she was used to. I'll do it, she said, but you have to promise me something. What? No more using rumors as office entertainment. I want people to see me as a colleague, not the CEO's special someone. Noah guessed, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Something like that, she replied, feeling her cheeks warm. Noah nodded. Promise, but I can still bring coffee to talented employees, right? Fine, Emma smirked. As long as it's not a cappuccino with a heart right before a meeting. They both laughed, the air between them noticeably lighter. A quick planning session for the test followed in a smaller meeting room. Emma outlined the timeline. Weeks 1 through 2 focused on workshops and tasting events. Weeks 3 through 4 collected feedback and adjusted menus based on data. Noah listened without interrupting, only asking brief questions about costs and staffing. When she finished, he said, "Clear, practical, and on brand. Let's do it." Ethan looked less than thrilled but didn't argue, simply nodding to take on his share of the work. When most of the team had left, Emma was gathering her notes when Noah appeared in the doorway. "Thank you for giving me a chance to fix this," he said. "I'm not great at apologizing, but this time I wanted to mean it." Emma studied him for a moment, then smiled. "You already did with the coffee this morning. That's enough." Noah gave a small nod, though there was something unsaid, lingering in his gaze. He didn't step in, only left her with one last line. "Tomorrow, 8 a.m. I'll be in the coffee lab. If you're free, join me for the new bean batch test." "I'll be there," Emma replied. After he left, Emma glanced at the empty cappuccino cup on her desk, shook her head, and let a small smile curl her lips. Maybe this time I'll trust him just a little. This year's Grant Enterprises Gala was held in the rooftop ballroom of the Aurelia Hotel. Crystal chandeliers dripped light like falling stardust, and the jazz band played "Fly Me to the Moon" softly enough for people to talk in low, conspiratorial voices. On the backdrop, the words "Grant Enterprises, better every day" glittered like a promise. Emma arrived with Lily, her dark teal silk dress brushing her ankles, hair pulled back in a neat low bun. She was aiming straight for the dessert table, the safe zone of any gala, but a black-suited figure appeared directly in her path, as if he'd memorized exactly how she would dodge and weave. "Good evening," Noah said, his eyes gleaming with both pride and warmth. "Allow me to introduce Grant Enterprises' strategic partner for customer service." Emma nearly laughed. Strategic partner sounded dangerously close to a public announcement, but it was elegant. Not girlfriend, not private consultant, but a title she both deserved and could stand behind. A few managers passing by stopped to greet her. Handshakes followed by comments like, "Really admired the A/B test last week," and "That weekend workshop was brilliant." Emma smiled and returned their greetings with professional poise, warm but never too much. "You're running PR defense for me, aren't you?" she teased when they finally stepped away from the small crowd. "No," Noah replied seriously, then let a faint smile tug at his lips. "I'm just defining the boundaries of the truth." The band shifted into "The Way You Look Tonight." Noah offered his hand, a gesture so classically polite it was hard to refuse. Emma placed hers in his. His palm was warm, like a cappuccino just after the steam wand stopped. They moved onto the floor, slow steps gliding across polished wood. Noah kept just the right distance, like someone who had learned to dance carefully enough not to step on anyone's toes or make anyone nervous. "Do you know that since you joined the company, coffee consumption on the 18th floor has gone up 22%? Noah said softly, a smile playing at his lips. "Internal reports call it the barista effect. That's just because your emails are so long. People need caffeine to get through them." Emma shot back, eyes bright with mischief. "No." Noah shook his head. "It's because people feel more heard. You make them enjoy their work the way you make customers enjoy their coffee." Emma didn't reply. She caught a glimpse of their reflection in the tall mirror. She soft, he steady, her in silk, him in wool, her looking up, him lowering his shoulder. Everything fit surprisingly well. They turned in a small spin. Noah leaned in slightly for half a beat, still polite, and his voice dropped, rich and low, as if pouring straight into her ear. "You make me want to drink coffee for the rest of my life, as long as you're the one pouring it." The words sank into Emma's chest like a drop of heat at exactly 62 degrees Celsius. She laughed, but the tips of her ears flushed warm. "I only pour for people who know how to listen. I've learned. I'm learning. And I'll keep learning," Noah replied instantly. Like a promise that didn't need a signature, applause rippled from the side stage. The MC was calling up the winners of the minigame, Cappuccino Trivia. A staff member walked on stage holding a thermometer, the crowd chuckling. "Final question. What's the ideal temperature for the cappuccino that this couple loves?" the MC asked. As if on instinct, Noah and Emma turned to each other. Without rehearsal, they answered in unison. 62. The whole ballroom burst into laughter. The MC grinned. My goodness, synchronized down to the exact degree. Just give them the prize. No need for more questions. Applause and good-natured whistles followed. Emma covered half her face, and Noah couldn't hide his smile. The running gag had now leveled up in front of the entire company, but strangely, she didn't feel embarrassed. The way Noah had called her strategic partner had created a light shield that made the teasing harmless. They left the floor after 2 songs. At the buffet, Emma picked a vanilla panna cotta, while Noah grabbed a small plate of macarons. An internal paparazzi colleague, Owen Reed, started snapping away. Click, click, click. Noah noticed instantly. He pulled a silk handkerchief from his breast pocket, tilting slightly to shield half of Emma's face, right as the flash went off. He didn't snap at the photographer, just smiled and said quietly, "Send those to communications before posting in the group chat, and pick the ones with as little of her face as possible." "Yes, sir." The young man nodded and stepped back, looking properly chastened. "Emma ed Noah, half reproach, half gratitude. You're very protective of privacy, because I know you'd rather tell stories with coffee than with pictures," Noah said with a shrug. A group of managers approached, offering congratulations on the promising start to the A/B test. Noah's smartwatch buzzed. He glanced at it, then turned the screen off. Emma caught the gesture. "Something urgent?" "No," Noah smiled. "Tonight, I have a jazz meeting with my strategic partner. No more appointments." Emma laughed, shaking her head. "That's too sweet. I'm pretty sure there's a company policy against excessive sugar." "My apologies," Noah said, hand over his heart in mock solemnity. "I'll cut it down to 62% sugar. Just the right amount of bad," Emma said, raising an eyebrow. Saturday came with a clear blue sky and gentle sunshine. The suburban branch of Bean and Bloom was packed with customers. Outdoor tables were full, while inside, the hum of the espresso machine blended with lively conversations. Emma was at the register, checking orders on the screen, when she suddenly heard a clunk. The espresso machine, the heart of the cafe, stopped working. A red warning light blinked. "No way." Emma stepped over, tried resetting the machine, but the pressure wouldn't rise. The barista manning the station tried restarting it, but only got a few weak hisses before it went completely silent. Before she could catch her breath, Sophie rushed over, pale-faced. 2 one-star reviews on Yelp just came in. Customers said the coffee this morning was watery and unusually bitter. Emma glanced at the clock. 11:15 a.m. Peak hour. She took a deep breath. "Don't panic. I'm the manager here. I can handle this." She clapped her hands sharply to get everyone's attention. "Listen, the espresso machine is down, but the cafe is not. We're switching to manual brewing. Pour over. French press. AeroPress. If you're not familiar, follow my lead." Some of the staff looked bewildered, but Emma's determined gaze kept them moving. She quickly split them into groups. 2 people to handle cold drinks, 2 on pastries, and 3 with her at the bar for manual brewing. "Sophie, call the technician now. If they can't make it today, get a backup machine." "Got it." While waiting for the water to boil, Emma pulled a round table into the center of the cafe and set up a chalkboard sign, "Measured by heart, free today." She smiled at the long line of customers. "Our coffee is a little rebellious today, but you can try it for free and give us your feedback so we can fix it right away." At first, customers looked annoyed, but after being served a steaming hot Ethiopia pour-over, their expressions began to soften. A group of college students even started live streaming a mini workshop from the cafe, adding the hashtag #WarmBoldHonest. Emma quickly drafted a post for the cafe's Facebook page and Google business profile. This morning, Bean and Bloom experienced an espresso machine malfunction. "We sincerely apologize for the drinks not meeting expectations. Our team has switched to manual brewing and is offering free tastings. Thank you for your patience. Today, your coffee is measured by heart." The post went up, and shares multiplied fast. Regular customers came back to show support, many tagging friends. "Come try free coffee. It's surprisingly good." For more than 3 hours, Emma brewed coffee, guided the staff, and chatted with customers. Using her barista knowledge, she explained the differences between espresso and pour-over, turning the operational hiccup into a fun, educational experience. An older gentleman remarked, "You remind me of the days I had coffee in Italy before all these modern machines." Emma smiled. "Then I guess we didn't break the machine today. We just went back to the roots." Early in the afternoon, the glass door opened, Noah walked in, removed his sunglasses, and paused for a few seconds at the entrance. He didn't speak right away, just observed. Emma was at the center of the bar, hair tied high, pouring water with the precision of a metronome, smiling at every customer. The staff moved like clockwork around her, and customers lingered longer, drawn in by the unique rescue mission atmosphere. His Gaza softened. She doesn't just keep the cafe running. She turns it into a place people want to stay. Sophie noticed Noah and started to signal to Emma, but he shook his head slightly. Don't interrupt. By nearly 4 p.m., the backup machine was installed. Emma pulled the first shot of espresso, tasted it, and nodded. Applause erupted like they'd just won a battle. On Yelp, the negative reviews from the morning had been pushed down by fresh 5-star ratings, praising honest and heartwarming. Came for the mishap, stayed for the vibe. Emma exhaled in relief, wiped her hands, and turned to find Noah leaning against the counter, holding a pour-over. I wonder if you accept coffee from a customer, he asked warmly. If the customer knows how to listen, they'll always be served, Emma replied, her eyes glimmering. Noah smiled, saying nothing more. In his mind, the answer to his own question was now certain. I'm in love with her. It was a Sunday morning. Emma had just opened Bean and Bloom when she saw a cream-colored envelope tucked into the door handle. The handwriting was firm yet neat. Meet me at the first coffee shop where we met. Noah. She pressed her lips together, half curious, half cautious. What now, Mr. 62 degrees? When Emma arrived, the cafe where she had once worked as a barista looked exactly the same. Warm yellow lighting, the aroma of roasted coffee mingling with the scent of waffle cones. Noah was already sitting at the table near the window, white shirt sleeves rolled up, tie loosened, gazing out at the street. On the table sat a small milk frother, a jug of fresh milk, and 2 unfinished cappuccinos. You're here, he said with a smile, standing up to pull out her chair. If this is job interview 2.0, I'm out. Emma crossed her arms, though the corner of her lips curved slightly. No. Noah shook his head. This is a heart trial. Noah poured milk into the pitcher, his hand steady like a seasoned craftsman. The white foam swirled smoothly. Then he tilted the pitcher, drawing a heart shape. He slid the cappuccino toward her. The first time we met, I challenged you. This time, I just want you to try something else. Emma picked up the cup, staring at the heart-shaped foam. She asked slowly, What is it? Noah took a deep breath. Try and see if being my girlfriend is as bitter as espresso or as sweet as cappuccino. She let out a small laugh, stirring the cup lightly while keeping her eyes on him. I only pour coffee for those who know how to listen. I'm ready to listen to even the things you haven't said yet, Noah replied, his voice low but sure. Emma was silent for a few seconds. In her mind, the past few months flashed quickly. The way he looked at her during the shop's crisis, the smile he hid when they bantered, the way he stood back and watched her lead the whole cafe. She set the cup down and leaned across the table. Then, Mr. 62 degrees, be prepared to drink coffee for the rest of your life. Noah chuckled, then, unable to resist, reached across the table, pulling her closer. Their first kiss landed between the soft clink of a spoon against porcelain, between the scent of coffee and warm milk, not rushed, not loud, just enough for their hearts to touch. When they pulled away, Emma's cheeks were red, but she still teased. Let's see if you can keep the temperature steady. With you, I'll keep it at exactly 62 degrees Celsius. For life, Noah said, his eyes as bright as the first morning he saw her. 3 months later, Bean and Bloom entered its first winter under the joint leadership of Noah Grant, the sharp-minded CEO who sometimes liked to check coffee temperatures, and Emma Brooks, head barista and warm soul of the brand. The head office now had a special spot called the 62 degrees Celsius table. That was where Noah and Emma often tested new recipes together or discussed marketing strategies over a cappuccino with heart-shaped foam. Employees joked, if that table's empty, the boss is on a business trip. If it's covered in milk, foam, and laughter, Emma just won a debate. One snowy morning, Emma, wrapped in the gray wool scarf Noah had given her, was training a new hire at the flagship store. Noah appeared without warning, holding a cup of hot coffee. For the manager, taste test today's product, he said. Eyes glinting mischievously, Emma took a sip, then scrunched her nose. 64摄氏度. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Just wanted to see if you still measure with your heart. Noah grinned, leaning down to plant a light kiss on her forehead, earning a chorus of ooh from the whole cafe. And so their life together was no longer just about coffee. Sometimes they packed gift sets for hospitals and schools, hosting a free coffee day each month. Noah realized that with her beside him, the numbers in his reports no longer felt cold, and Emma discovered that beneath the busy CEO exterior, he was a surprisingly patient and attentive man. One evening, when snow covered the streets, they locked up the last store of the day. Emma held his hand, smiling softly. "You know, the first time I met you, I just hoped I'd never see you again." "And me? The first time I met you, I knew I'd see you again for sure," Noah said, squeezing her hand, his gaze as warm as a perfectly brewed cappuccino. As snow fell thick and white, inside, the two of them stood side by side in the cozy cafe, sharing a cappuccino with a heart in the foam, the aftertaste sweeter, lasting longer than winter itself.